She murdered her own children. She murdered her husband. She tried to murder her niece's ex-husband, and then she walked into a courtroom and defended herself. Meet Lori Vallow Daybell, the woman America calls the Doomsday Mom. In 2019, 2 children went missing in Idaho. Joshua J.J. Vallow was 7 years old. Tylee Ryan was 16. Their mother, Lori, said she had no idea where they were. She was lying. Both children had already been murdered. JJ's body was buried in a pet cemetery on the property of Lori's new boyfriend, Chad Daybell, an author of doomsday religious fiction. Tylee's body had been dismembered and burned in a fire pit on the same property. But let's go back to the beginning. Lori Vallow had been married 5 times. Her 4th husband was Charles Vallow. Charles was a kind man. He loved his family. He tried everything to help Lori when she began slipping into strange religious beliefs. In 2019, he filed for divorce, saying she had threatened to kill him. He also sought a mental health evaluation for her. Before the divorce could be finalized, Charles was shot dead in Lori's home. Her brother, Alex Cox, pulled the trigger. He claimed self-defense. Nobody believed him. Alex Cox died 5 months later from a blood clot, before he could ever be charged. 4 months after Charles died, Lori married Chad Daybell. Chad's first wife, Tammy, had also recently died. She was healthy one day and gone the next. Investigators later found that she had been asphyxiated. Text messages between Lori and Chad described their family members as zombies, evil spirits possessing human bodies. They believed killing them was a religious duty. In 2023, both Lori and Chad were convicted in Idaho for 3 murders, including the murders of 2 children. Chad Daybell was sentenced to death. Lori received life without parole. But it wasn't over. Arizona had its own charges waiting: conspiracy to murder Charles Vallow and conspiracy to murder her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux, who survived a drive-by shooting that Lori had allegedly ordered. For her Arizona trial, Lori Vallow Daybell fired her lawyers and decided to defend herself. A woman with no legal training, already serving life in prison, stood in a Phoenix courtroom cross-examining witnesses, making objections, and delivering her own closing argument. Jurors watched her smile and laugh at the defense table on multiple days. On April 21, 2025, the jury deliberated for 3 hours before returning a guilty verdict. On July 25, 2025, a judge sentenced her to 2 additional life sentences, to run consecutively with her Idaho sentences. As she was being led away, someone in the courtroom yelled, "Lori, rot in prison." Her son Colby stood before the court and said, "Starting 6 years ago, the horror began." Charles Vallow's sister broke down in tears and said, "My brother's death was a deliberate act of evil." Lori Vallow Daybell has now been convicted of 5 murders and 1 attempted murder across 2 states. She will die in prison. Chad Daybell sits on death row. Their children never got to grow up. That is the case. Nova out.